guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in today's Pick a Card reading, we are going to be looking at messages and predictions for your month of June 2023. We're going to start off with a general overview of the month. So that will be the main themes of your month, the main energies that you're working with, and significant events and changes coming your way. And then we are going to dive into more specific areas of your life. So we're going to take a look at your love life and relationships, your career and studies, and finally your spiritual and personal growth. So there are 3 readings for you guys to choose from today. I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is Angel Aura Rose Quartz. Number 2 is Fluorite. And number 3 is Emerald. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Angel Aura Rose Quartz, this is going to be your reading for the month of June 2023. So like I mentioned in the intro, we're gonna start by just taking a general look at your month. So seeing what are the main themes, the main energies that you're working with, as well as significant events and changes coming your way. So to do that, we're gonna be taking a look at these oracle cards here. And to start for group number 1, we have the Alchemist, turning base material into gold. Anything can be transmuted. This is a very powerful card to start off with group number 1, and kind of interesting that you were drawn. Ooh, yes, okay. You guys were drawn to group number 1, which already is the number of new beginnings, new manifestations. And I also just noticed that both the moon on this person's third eye area, as well as the moon in the sky, these are waxing moons. So they're growing, but like they just barely started to grow. Like this is the moon that we would see right after a new moon. And literally, I just saw 111 on the camera timer. That might actually be an angel number that is following you guys around quite a bit during the month of June, but this is a very exciting time for you guys. It seems like there is some new beginning that you are stepping into, and the energy is growing quickly. You're gaining momentum in something, you're feeling excited, you're feeling inspired, and there's limitless possibilities ahead of you. With this message of the Alchemist, anything can be transmuted, turning base material into gold, I want to kind of explore this idea from both a more material perspective and a more spiritual perspective as well. Materially, I think there could be a message for you guys that something you're working on can be fixed or can be changed. Maybe you have had this moment before. Let's say you're writing an essay, or you're trying to organize your study notes, or maybe you're making a song, or maybe you're doing like a home renovation project or something, I don't know. But you get to a point in your project where you're like, this is a mess. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. This can't be salvaged. Like, I'm just gonna scrap everything and go back to the drawing board. And I think that for you guys, group number 1, there's still something you can do with the material that you have. Like, it can be saved, it can be changed, it can be made into something beautiful, something perfect. And I think sometimes it's hard to see that when you're in the middle of the project and like everything is chaotic and up in the air and everything looks like a mess. But I promise if you just trudge through the dirt and the chaos and keep hacking away at your project, it will transform into something beautiful. So don't give up. I know it can be overwhelming, but just take it one day at a time and you will make something very beautiful and polished and refined. So I think materially, this is talking about, like, the word salvaging keeps coming to my mind. Like, we can save this, we can salvage this. There's some really good work here. There's some really good potential. Don't scrap it just yet. In a more emotional and spiritual sense, I think that there's something here about transmuting emotions, channeling negative emotions and like turning them into motivation. So, or turning them into something that is beautiful and something that brings you abundance. I guess a kind of simple example of this is like, maybe you got your heart broken and then you write an amazing album about your heartbreak and it like sells 5,000 trillion copies and it inspires a lot of people. Or maybe you are sad or angry about something and then you take that energy and like you let it out in the gym and then you get healthy and like you build up your physique. I think you guys get the picture, but it's like, take these uncomfortable emotions or negative emotions this month and like channel them into something. I'm also hearing let your haters be your motivators. You may be fueled by the desire to prove someone wrong or like show someone you can do it. Is that healthy? I don't know, but you can make something healthy out of it. You can make something beautiful and impactful if you use your emotions as fuel, like your discomfort, your anger, your heartbreak. You can turn it into something beautiful. So you are the alchemist this month. You are transforming your life this month. And I just see you at a very exciting beginning. We also have this, gosh, I never know what these are, like a reindeer, an elk, something of that nature behind you. This could be an important spirit animal for you guys this month. And let me take a look in my handy dandy pocket guide to spirit animals and see if there's, I think it's maybe an elk. Let's see if there's an elk in here. The closest thing I could find in this book is a deer. So I'm gonna read this passage, but I'll also I'm gonna make a note. Actually, my new system of reminding me to do something in editing is to throw an astro die on the floor. So I'm gonna look up elk as well. I just feel called to do that. And the astro die landed on Jupiter. That's nice. Okay. So we have deer on page 87. You've been involved in some aggressive negative circumstances and need to seek out safe, nurturing situations and people. More than ever, you need to trust your gut instinct. You're poised for an enticing adventure, one that will take you down many different paths and lead to many important insights. Be gentle with yourself and others. Group number one thing that you guys might be mastering in the month of June is a balance between like going hard and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and also knowing when to rest, knowing when to be gentle with yourself, knowing when to play it safe, because it's really an art. It really comes down to tuning in and seeing what is right for you in that moment. And I think one thing you're learning this month is how to like tap into those cues. Like, am I in a place where I can push myself? Am I in a place where I can go a bit harder? Am I in a place where I can exert a bit more and expect more from myself? Like, am I willing to make that push today? Or am I okay to take that push today? And other days you might not be feeling it. You might want to do a bit less. You might want to play it a bit more safe. And that is okay too. So I think you're finding that balance this month. What else do we have? There are no what ifs. Another thing that I would want to say for you guys is, for any big goals that you have or projects that you want to realize, just start. I know that that's maybe kind of cliche advice, but it is very true. And it's very important to remember, just start. And for this group, I think that you can actually do some amazing things like we spoke about before with the materials you already have, with the resources that are already at your disposal. You guys might get into the thought patterns of like, if only I had more time, if only I had more money, if only I had more this, if only I had that, then things could be different. And maybe sometimes not realizing how you can be resourceful with what you already have and actually do something pretty good and make something of a pretty good quality. You may spend a lot of time thinking about hypotheticals with this what ifs card, like if only this, if only that, or these what ifs might stop you from taking your first step. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I get rejected? And that really is not helpful. I think a lot of the time we spend a lot of energy on what ifs that are completely out of our control. It's one thing if the what if is something that can be addressed and fixed directly by us, but you know, what if people don't like it? We have no control over that, really. And I even want to say wasting time over these what ifs that are out of our control, it can really freeze us in place. It can really stop us from making progress and stop us from going after our dreams. What if the negative thing happens? It honestly might. Like, I can't tell you that it won't happen, but that shouldn't stop you from moving forward. You know, like if I have a song and I'm like, what if someone doesn't like it? Someone probably won't like it, but I'm gonna put it out anyway. Like, I can't let that scare me. I think that there could also be advice here to be conscious about shifting the question from like, what if everything goes wrong, to what if everything goes right? Think of all the things that could go well, of all the things that could go right. Because at the end of the day, the power is in our hands to shift our focus. I could ask myself, what if people don't like my song? I could also ask myself, what if people love it? What if it inspires someone to work on their own creative project? What if the lyrics are really relatable to someone? What if they help them through a hard time? Am I gonna rob people of that just because I'm worried about the one person who might say like, this song is dumb? No, because it's up to me to redirect my thoughts to where there's positive energy, to where I am welcomed, to where blessings are waiting for me. So if you are gonna do the whole what if thing, what if everything goes right? Think of the positives, because the positive and negative both exist. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say nothing negative will happen, everyone's gonna love what you're doing, but you can shift your focus to the positives. That is your power. There's also a feeling of like no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna get this done. There's definitely like an overall message for this month of just keep going. Just keep working away at what you're doing, and it will become something amazing in the end. So let's take a look at your astrological cards as well to get a little bit more insights into the overall energies. We have Resolve with Desert, Jasper, and Vesta. Very interesting. So Resolve and Vesta, this is about really dedicating yourself to something, really committing to something and investing your time, your energy, your efforts. Some of you guys may be taking a risk, like for something that really matters to you, or you may be sacrificing something. An example that's coming to my mind is I'm seeing someone who has like quit their job that they're not passionate about so that they can focus on what they love, but then there may be a period of less income coming in, so they have to maybe sacrifice, I don't know, like their Netflix subscription or maybe even something bigger. But they don't feel bad about this sacrifice because it's for something that they really love and something that they're really passionate about. This could also be a sacrifice of time, like giving up the time we spend on certain activities or letting go of certain commitments, something in our schedule so that we can relocate, if that's the right word, maybe allocate more time into what really matters to us. And for some, these could be little things, you know, like I said, like a little subscription or like, oh, this like entertainment that I spend my time on. Or for others, it could be bigger things, but it feels like it's a sacrifice you're willing to make because it's something that is very important to you. And then we also have Pisces. So I'm gonna check when the moon is in Pisces during the month of June, because this could be important dates for you. So I'm just scrolling on my moon app. Okay, here we go. So in June, the moon is going to be in Pisces. It's going to enter Pisces on the 9th, and it's going to leave Pisces on the 11th. So between the 9th and the 11th of June could be an important time for you guys this month. I think with these two cards next to each other, actually, I'm pretty sure that Piscean energy can also talk about sacrifice, which is very interesting. And with Pisces here as well, one of the things that you could be sacrificing a little bit is sleep to achieve your goals. And I am in no way advocating for sleep deprivation or severe undersleeping. But for example, if you're someone who tends to sleep for a very long time or sleep in a lot, you might be cutting back just a little bit more, like waking up just a little bit earlier so that you can spend 10 minutes or 30 minutes on a goal that matters to you. But yeah, Pisces also makes me think about our dreams and our fantasies. In this case, a fantasy that we want to make a reality. So I think that this is a month where you guys are really committing to your dreams and really believing in your power to make it happen. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts anymore. It seems like you're really motivated and really driven to I want to say finally make this happen. With the number 32 here, the 2nd and 3rd of June could also be a significant time. This could also be indicating that a Pisces person is significant, whether that is you or someone you know or someone new coming into your life. If there is a Pisces in your life, they could be playing a very significant role in the month of June. So let's take a look at our tea leaf fortune cards now to get our last messages for the general part of the reading. So these could be specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or just messages from your spirit guides. So to start off, we have Shark, take care or there will be a loss of material wealth. Vulture, depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. And Inkpot, problems to be resolved. Okay, I'm getting a very specific message with this shark. The first thing that came to my mind is Shark Tank, which I think the American one is Shark Tank. But it's the show where business people or inventors, they go on and they present their business to investors. And they're I want this much money for this percent of the company. And then the investors that believe in what they're doing will invest in it. Anyway, I think many people are familiar with Shark Tank, but that just came to my mind very clearly when I saw this shark card. But we do have the message, take care or there will be a loss of material wealth. And I think that this is something to look out for this month. And interesting that we have Pisces energy which can deal with fantasies and illusions and things of that nature. I think someone could be coming to you in the month of June who is interested in your work or interested in something you're doing, and they present to you an offer that appears as if it would really help you in some way, but it's kind of too good to be true. And you would actually end up losing money. An example that's coming to my mind is there are some agencies out there for YouTubers who are hey, if you sign a contract with us, we'll help grow your channel, but then they don't grow your channel and now you're in a contract and they're taking a percentage of your AdSense money. It's that kind of thing. Someone is selling to you I like what you're doing, I can help you grow, but they're actually just going to leech off you and steal from your results or steal from your earnings and not really offer much back to you. And you already have the potential to grow by yourself is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. So it does, this shark, I mean, sharks are predators. The shark seems a little bit predatory. So if someone is offering you, especially in business, or like trying to get you to sign something and it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And if you're getting an offer for any sort of partnership like that, I would definitely do research on whoever is reaching out to you, because that was something that was happening to me in my early YouTube days. Like I would get these emails from YouTuber agencies, and then I would look them up, and there would be these people on Reddit saying like, oh yeah, like don't respond to their emails. They're just going to take your AdSense money and they're not going to do anything to help you. So yeah, just be careful of sharks. I mean, I think it's a sign that you're really shining, that you're really doing well. And obviously these sharks can see your light. But keep that light for yourself. Like you deserve to reap the rewards for your hard work, and you do not really need this shark to help you is kind of how it's coming through. And especially with this vulture, like I think vultures just like hang around and wait for, I could be very wrong, but I'm picturing like a vulture like swarming around and waiting for something to be dead, and then just comes and eats it without doing the work. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the vibe that I'm getting from a vulture. So yeah, and that kind of sucks, but just be careful of someone who is maybe trying to steal your work or steal credit, you know, steal an idea or steal the fruits of your labor. Especially ideas or yeah, like intellectual property, things that you have written, your ideas with this ink pot, because that's making me think of like ideas and communications. Yeah, just be diligent, I think is the word, because you're really doing something amazing this month, and it's gonna attract sharks. But like, no, this is my idea. I'm gonna go forward with it on my own. I believe in myself to make it work, and I'm gonna reap the rewards. I'm gonna get the fruits of my labor because it's my efforts. You can go do your own thing. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying turn down a collaborator that you feel really good about, but be diligent. I don't think that's the right word, but be safe out there. Be safe out there. Do your research. Like really get a feel for people and get information about people before you agree to anything, because you have your hard work to protect and you have your brilliant ideas to protect. Okay, so that concludes the general overview part of the reading. So we're going to move into the specific life areas now. As you can see, I have a tarot card and an oracle card, each for love and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. So let's start off with your cards for love and relationships. For your tarot card, we have the moon, and my reaction is because the moon is also a Pisces, so could be an important Pisces person in your life this month. And then we have the messenger, need to talk, speed, communications. So some of you guys will be in a lot of communication with a Pisces person in the month of June. Or with this zodiac sign aside, if there is someone you are desiring communication from, or someone you feel like we need to talk, we need to have a conversation, I think that you will be in a lot more communication in the month of June. With this message speed, there could be someone who is starting to, I'm hearing like there could be someone who's starting to reply to you faster. And maybe that's because like they have less on their plate, or they're just, I don't know, they're just in a better place now. They're more on the ball, but it seems like someone is replying more or replying faster or just being more talkative with you. And I think I do see this as a very positive thing. If there's anything you feel like you need to work out with someone, like we need to talk this through, I do think you'll be getting that clarity, because the moon can also talk about, like we spoke about illusions with Pisces, it can also talk about things being kind of unclear, kind of murky. Like I know there's some lingering energy, something beneath the surface that we need to talk about. there's like an elephant in the room or a skeleton in the closet that we need to talk about and just make things clear. And it's like just kind of like bugging me. And so I feel like everything is going to be aired out in June. Everything is going to be out in the open. And once you actually start talking about things openly, things can get resolved very, very quickly. I feel like we're moving away from a dynamic in the connection where there was a lot of assumptions being made about one another and a lot of uncertainty because things weren't outright stated. So we had to just assume what the other person meant or assume what the other person was feeling. And now we're being more like clear cut and more direct about things. So some of you guys also, I just heard like fantasy novel because Pisces makes me think of fantasy. And then we have, you know, the ink pot, we have the messenger. Some of you guys could be writing fantasy or you're inspired by something fantasy-like. Interesting, kind of a specific message. Another interpretation that I can see from this is actually communication through dreams, because this is a very dreamy energy. When the moon is out, that is when a lot of people tend to be sleeping. We do have night sky in both of these cards. So you could also be communicating to someone very frequently through your dreams or experiencing a kind of telepathic communication or psychic connection with someone. And actually, that could be something that is quite intense this month. You'll probably be shown messages about people through your dreams. So like if you're constantly dreaming about someone and you wake up feeling very positive, that's a good sign that you need to listen to. If you're having intense dreams about someone and you're waking up feeling like anxious or scared, maybe you're having a dream about this shark person and it's not pretty, like pay attention. You'll receive messages about people in your dreams or messages from your specific person in your dreams. So yeah, I'm seeing like we're getting clarity. Also, another thing is that there's a message like the more you talk to someone or the more you talk to people, the less insecure you will feel. Because I think that a lot of your insecurities when it comes to relationships are kind of in your head. And the more you talk out loud with someone, the more it eases your insecurities. So for example, maybe you're the type of person who, after you meet with someone, you're like, what if they don't like me? What if they're upset with me? What if they thought I was weird? And these are all just like insecurities in your head. But the more you talk to them openly, you actually realize from what they're saying, like, oh, that is not the case at all. So having a conversation could be very, very reassuring this month and make you feel more secure about where you stand with people. Yeah, communication is going to be very important and it's going to be very abundant this month. If you're a creator, especially if you create characters or create stories, the relationships in your real life could inspire you this month. So maybe a friend of yours drops this bomb of wisdom on you and it gives you an idea for a story that you're writing. Or maybe you meet someone this month who's really freaking weird and it inspires you to create a character, maybe a thinly veiled parody of someone in your life. So like real life connections and real life relationships could be inspiring you in the month of June. And we also have 38, which reduces to 11. Kind of interesting because I think we mentioned that the 11th could be an important date. So let's also look at your career and studies. For your tarot card, we have Judgment. And for your oracle card, we have Divine Feminine, Abundance, Growth, and Artistic Project. Wow. So abundance, pretty self-explanatory and definitely a very beautiful message to come out in the career portion of a reading. There's definitely some kind of major success that you're experiencing or that you are working towards in the month of June. Many of you guys could be artists and working on some kind of artistic project, but whatever it is that you're doing with judgment here, there is a feeling that what you're working on is ready to see the world. So this month you could be releasing a project out into the world, or at school or at work, you could be going through some sort of evaluation. So maybe it's like exam seasons at school, or maybe you're having a performance review at work, or maybe you have to present something in front of a lot of people. Maybe, you're giving a presentation or you're doing some form of public speaking, because with judgment, especially in a context like this, it gives me the feeling of like, this is the moment of truth. This is the moment for you to step up on that stage and be evaluated by your peers or be reviewed by your superior. Like, it's time for you to show us what you've got. So I feel like there is some form of evaluation that's happening in June. I definitely think it's going to go well with abundance and growth that we have here. I do think you'll get a positive response, but like we kind of touched on in the intro, you may also get some negative judgments, and that's okay. If you're putting out something that everyone's just okay with, I mean, it might not be the most interesting thing. I think for those of you who have some kind of evaluation or performance review that is like official, I do think you'll get a positive result. I don't really see your standing at school or your standing in a company being affected negatively. I see it being affected positively. I feel like negative judgments more so come from, for example, like the consumers of your work, or how can I give an example? Like, this would be like you're getting a positive review from your boss, but you might get negative judgments from coworkers, but the coworkers ultimately don't have any effect on your standing in the company, if that makes sense. Like, they're just hating, they're just talking shit. It's like that kind of vibe. Or like you put out, or like for me, for example, when I put out a YouTube video, like you get a lot of positive comments, and then you also get a few negative comments, but they don't really have any power unless you give them power to affect you. Like some hater on the internet cannot affect the standing of your channel, really. They can just talk their shit and then go about their day. So again, this will kind of be a test of where you focus your energy. Do you focus it on all of the positive feedback that is coming your way, or do you focus it on the negative judgments? And it's very easier said than done. And actually, a lot more people struggle with this than I realized. Like, I think I thought it was just me. And I was like, what's wrong with me that I get all these lovely comments day after day, but then I get one negative comment and I like think about it all day. And I noticed that even people who are so much like bigger and more successful than me have the same problem. And I'm like, damn, I thought it was just me. So it's a lot more common, I think, than we realize. And negativity can really get to us, but I think there's a challenge here of just like choosing to focus on the positive, because you will be getting both positive and negative judgments this month for what you are doing. With this divine feminine as well, I could be reading this very literally, but some of you guys might get judgments that are based on your gender. And I kind of want to say, especially if you are a woman or a feminine person, or like you're in a field where there's not a lot of representation of your gender, or like you're the minority in terms of your gender, people might make assumptions about your capabilities, or just judge you for no freaking reason, Like, I feel like there's a lot of double standards where like someone of one gender will get judged for something, but then the other gender does the exact same thing and it's not judged. So you might be dealing with that kind of double standard, or people making assumptions about you for that reason, which is all bullshit. And I think deep down we know that it is, right? Like deep down we know it's stupid, but it can definitely still get to you, because like our human brains, we're just sensitive. We're just sensitive to criticism and sensitive to rejection, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if anything, it just shows like how much you care and how sensitive you are, and that is a beautiful thing. But I think you could also get judgments because you're doing something out of the box and people don't like that. Like some people just like things to be nicely in their box, the way that they understand it. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen this so many times where a musician changes up their genre a bit or changes up their aesthetic a bit and people lose their freaking minds. Like, I can't process you as anything else but this box that I have put you in. So you were like, you've changed. And it's like, yeah, I fucking changed. Like, I'm a person. But yeah, so you might get judgments like that, like you've changed or you're doing something out of the box and I don't get it. Just like dumb stuff. But that's what happens when you're powerful, and that's what happens when you're doing amazing things. Like, the sharks and the vultures are gonna come out of the woodwork and start talking their shit. So just something to be aware of, that you don't need to let them have power over you. Ultimately, by the people who matter, your evaluation is very positive. Your talent is being recognized. You're gaining abundance. Your creativity will be rewarded. Your sensitivity will be praised. Yes. Okay, so next we're going to look at your cards for spiritual and personal growth. So we have the World. That's kind of interesting because the World comes after Judgment. Like, this is card number 20, this is card number 21. Also, you guys have all major arcana for your tarot cards. So it looks like June is going to be a really big month for you, like in your life. June, this month will be one that you look back on like, wow, that was a life-changing month. That was really a big month for me. And then we also have I am searching, initial project, learning, training, blessing of loneliness. So there is a feeling of something coming to completion for you guys. And that's crazy because like at the start of the reading, we had this energy of it's an exciting new beginning, something's gaining momentum. And then here we have you're reaching completion, you're reaching fulfillment. We also have speed here. So it's like something's growing really, really fast. And you're getting that sense of accomplishment and that sense of fulfillment within this month. And that tells me you're making a lot happen this month. You're going through a period of very fast growth. And I think you're reaching a goal this month that, like, in your head, you thought was much farther away. You thought maybe I'm going to reach this goal by the end of 2023. And like, it's already freaking here because you just grew so fast. And you've already completed a stage or completed a project. So definitely in terms of your personal growth, I think you're learning that, first of all, doubting yourself is silly. And also to never doubt the power of the divine. Like, what the universe can make happen for you. Sometimes it is beyond our comprehension. Sometimes it is beyond our logical mind. And so limiting beliefs really just don't make sense. Like, they just don't. They're not logical. They're not beneficial because at the end of the day, you really don't know what can happen. You're going through, I'm hearing like staggering growth that is really surprising you. And I do think this is going to be kind of a bittersweet time, you know, for some reasons that we already talked about. For example, getting a lot of positive judgment and also getting some negative judgment and like navigating that, right? Like dealing with the negativity, but also dealing with, like, I kind of deal with feelings of guilt sometimes because I'm like, why can't I just be grateful for all the positivity that's coming my way? It almost feels rude to everyone who is so kind to me to be complaining about this one negative person, you know? We also had a message of sacrifice, you know? Like, I'm really freaking proud of myself that I made this happen with all my hard efforts, but I also had to sacrifice some things along the way. And with initial project as well, it's funny, like you could almost kind of miss the way things were before. And it's kind of like, you know, when you're a kid and like all you want is to grow up and be an adult, but then when you're an adult, you miss being a kid. It's like that. It's like the irony of being human. Like we always want the other thing that we don't have. And so, you know, using a YouTuber as an example, maybe you started off with like 30 subscribers and you got like, I don't know, like 3 comments on every video, and you wish like, oh, I wish I could be a big YouTuber, you know, I wish I could be super successful. And then in this month you go through really, really fast growth, and now you have this huge channel. And while you're simultaneously very grateful and excited about that, there is that part of you that's like, oh, I miss those 3 commenters. Like I miss having that intimate little circle, or I missed when not a lot of people were really watching me and I could do whatever I want. So like making it big and getting to the top, it's just a different experience, right? And it may provide contrast for, you know, when your project had first started, that, oh, I kind of wish I like made the best of those moments more. I kind of wish I enjoyed that more, you know, like I missed those days where the boys and I were playing in our garage, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of feeling. And honestly, you can retroactively have gratitude and appreciation for those moments, and also have appreciation for where you are now. But it's funny how that works, right? Like when you're in the beginning stages, you can't wait to be more advanced. But then when you do advance, you're like, aw, beginning me was so sweet. Like that was actually pretty fun. So just having that new perspective. And I think the lesson there is just wherever you are, whether you're teeny tiny or huge and on top of the world, just enjoy where you are, you know, just enjoy where you are, because it is a precious experience that won't last forever. And every stage of the journey is beautiful. Every stage of the journey has something to offer you and has amazing memories that you can make. There could also be something here of, you know, there's that big moment of fulfillment and celebration and we did it. And then there's that feeling of, now what? What's next? We could almost feel empty. It's like, you know, when you finish a game, you finish a really long video game, and then you're happy for a moment and then you're sad because you're like, it's over? Like, what is next now? What do I do with myself now? So as you reach this massive achievement, there could be a bit of that feeling. The feeling of like, what's next? Or like, what am I supposed to do now? Which is okay. It's very normal to have these kind of mixed feelings. So I think a big lesson of your personal growth this month is to give yourself permission for those mixed feelings to coexist. I was just thinking about that last night before falling asleep, how humans really are contradictory, and it's very possible, and I think okay, it is okay to have conflicting emotions, and they don't have to fight until one of them wins. They can just both be there and be conflicting, and that's okay. And just, yeah, give yourself permission to feel the things that you feel. And nothing is ever all positive or all negative, but you can choose, ultimately you can choose what you focus on. Wow, what a ride, eh? Like, you're doing a lot this month. There's a feeling of like going from the bottom to the top all in one month, and going through that roller coaster of emotions and getting used to your new life and the new level that you're at. It's crazy. But it's gonna be an awesome ride. Interesting, there's a lot of winged figures as well. This guy has wings, they have wings, the bird, the fairy. This guy has wings. You're soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that you can't reach if you're trying. Okay. So those are all the messages for my group number ones. So I'm gonna end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can find my Patreon, my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except you get to choose the topic for them. You can check out my music channel, which includes the song at the start of this video, the intro song, that is an original song. You can also check out my latest release linked down below. And you can check out my vlog channel at KINO Vlogs, and finally my merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. And group number ones, I'm sending so much love to you, to everyone involved in your month of June, except maybe the shark. We'll send love to the shark. We will miss the shark. Miss me with that, but sending you love and light. And lots of love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on Earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number twos, so if you guys chose the Fluorite, this is going to be a reading all about your month of August 2023. So like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to start off this reading by just taking a general look at your month. So we're going to see the main themes of your month, the main energies that you're working with, as well as significant events and changes coming your way. And to do that, we're going to be using these oracle cards right here. So let's get right into it. So starting off for group number two, we have Dream Time, Messages and Healing in Dreams, Get Enough Rest. I love the color of this card. I'm so drawn to the color of this card right away. It looks very serene, soothing, healing. I do think that the month of June for this group is going to be relatively calmer, perhaps, than some other months. It seems like things are more easygoing, things are more gentle for the time being. There's not a lot of stressful things going on around you. It feels like a chill month. And I think that you might use this kind of slower month for some healing work like we see in this card, and also daydreaming, fantasizing about your life, getting excited about what you want to do next. I know it's kind of in the middle of the year, the month of June, but there's almost a feeling of like we're using this month to recharge and to reflect. Maybe it's like you're thinking about what you want to do moving into the second half of the year, but it's kind of like we have this period to just slow down and brainstorm and visualize the next chapter of our life. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, and it just seems like things are moving slower, but in a good way. It's like we finally have a moment to breathe. We finally have a moment to relax. You guys could be sleeping significantly more in the month of June, or you're being encouraged to take time to rest more and sleep more, which is kind of funny because I was telling group number one to sleep less. But not only are you sleeping or resting a lot this month, I think that you'll be dreaming a lot. I see you guys having very vivid dreams in the month of June, and also kind of recurring dreams. You could also be lucid dreaming during this time, but it seems like there's a scenario that keeps playing out in your dreams, and I do think that it is a pleasant one, almost as if you are getting to live in your fantasy world and live your ideal life in your dreams. We also have I want to believe. So I think something that's going to be happening a lot in the month of June is like you have this amazing dream, and then you wake up and you're like, damn, I wish that was true. Like, no, I want to go back. Do you ever have that feeling like when you're having such a good time in your dream and then you wake up and you're disappointed? Like, oh man, I'm back to reality. You know, not that reality sucks, or maybe it does sometimes, but just that the dream world was so beautiful. And if you were having a lucid dream, it's like I was in control. I could create whatever I wanted. I could experience whatever I wanted. And there's kind of that like, aw, feeling when you wake up. I think that will be happening a lot this month, but this is not happening to tease you or to disappoint you. I actually think that these dreams you're experiencing, it's like you're seeing what can become a reality for you. You're seeing your desires play out, but they can also play out in your waking life. I think you guys are going to have very pleasant dreams this month. So for those of you who have like nightmares or night terrors, or if you have trouble sleeping, or if you feel anxious at night, I think that things are going to be much calmer in the month of June and more pleasant. One thing that I will say is that you might feel kind of spacey this month. It's almost like you get so invested in your dream world and so excited about your dream world that like when you're in the like waking world, you kind of just can't focus because part of your brain is like still on the dream plane. I hope that makes sense, or like you want to get back. I think we're just really enjoying sleeping and rest and visualizing during this time. But I think the important thing to remember is that you don't have to escape to these dreams. They're showing you what your true life can be. And I think you're being encouraged to pay attention to your dreams because they could be reflecting your truest desires. So let's take a look at your astrological cards to get a little bit more insight in what's going on. This is really funny because Herkimer diamond is a stone that you can use to have more vivid dreams, or that you can use to remember your dreams better. So that message is just coming up really, really strongly for this group. But I like that we have Earth Star Chakra and alignment. I'm gonna double check this. I'll put a subtitle if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Earth Star Chakra is below the root chakra. It keeps us tethered to planet Earth. It keeps us grounded. It keeps us attached to this physical experience. And we have the word alignment. So I feel like this just really confirms everything we've been talking about, where these experiences you're having that feel like a fantasy, that feel like a place you want to go to perhaps escape from the real world. I feel like this Earth Star Chakra is letting you know that you can ground these emotions in your experience on Earth. You can ground these experiences into your reality. You can make it so that what you seek in your dreams is in alignment with what you are actually experiencing here on Earth. This is a month about making your dreams a reality and believing in your ability and in the universe's ability to do this. With the number 29, the 29th of June could be a significant date of the month, like the very end of the month, or maybe some of you guys are 29. If you're turning 29, happy birthday. But let's see what else we have. We also have Sagittarius. And I'm pretty sure in the month of June, the moon is going to be in Sagittarius like at the very start of the month. So that's kind of cool. The very start of the month will be important for you, and the very end of the month will be important for you. With Sagittarius, there's definitely a feeling of like, I desire to go bigger. I desire to expand. I think your soul is craving for expansion right now. New challenges, new learning, new experiences, new adventures, new sights to see. I think you guys get the picture. There is some area or multiple areas of your life in which you can level up, and you're actually being called to level up at this time. Sagittarius has to do with higher education, with like spiritual learning, spiritual advancement, as well as traveling to foreign lands. So those could be things that you're very interested in this month. You could be very interested in other cultures, learning other languages, or watching videos about life in other countries or the sights to see. You could also be really interested in like learning about spiritual concepts. Maybe you're even going to be spending a lot of time this month looking up the symbols and things that you're experiencing in your dream to figure out more about like, what does this mean? What is this trying to tell me? You could be just very into spirituality this month in general, perhaps more into your divination practices, or more into developing your psychic abilities, more into your spiritual reflection. You could also be feeling more ambitious in June, especially striving to learn more. I feel like your ambitions don't so much have to do with material things like making money and getting more status so much this month as like, I want to expand by making my mind richer. I want to give myself a lot of different kinds of experiences. I want to become more open-minded. I want to become more cultured. I want to enrich my life, which, I mean, now that I think about it, you can very much do that with money. But I think what I mean to say is that your main motivation is really expansion of your mind and adventure and seeing everything the world has to offer. It's not motivated by superficial things or by like other people's opinion or something like that. Like, I just want to have a lust for life. I just want to have a adventure. I just want to have fun. I feel like you're romanticizing your life this month for sure, and daydreaming about all the adventures you want to go on. And it is my hope that you feel like the world is your oyster, because you can really manifest anything you're dreaming about into this reality. So next, let's take a look at your tea leaf fortune cards. These are the last cards of like the general overview part. Oh, also I should say that a Sagittarius person could be significant to you. So you could be a Sag, or someone in your life could be a Sag, and they could be playing a very important role in your life this month. So, okay, I'm getting kind of excited, so I hope that I'm not like all over the place. Tea leaf fortune cards. These are going to represent specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or additional messages from your spirit guides. So we have leg, stepping into a new experience. This is kind of funny because Sagittarius, like the body part that it's related to is the legs, I'm pretty sure, and like your butt. So maybe some of you guys are working on that body part this month. But yeah, we're stepping into a new experience. We have rat, someone working against you behind your back. This is similar to group 1. They had some shady person in their reading as well. What is going on? And then we have lily with spiritual love. So in addition to a possible Sagittarius being significant, a year of the rat person could be significant as well. People born in the year of the rat is 1996, 1984, 1972, and 12 years back or 12 years forward. Also Lily could be somebody's name. Lily, or maybe like Lily in another language is a name. But it looks like you're definitely getting ready to step into a new experience. Like I mentioned in the intro, there's a feeling of you're preparing, and I want to say like getting hyped up and getting excited for the second half of the year. I feel like the second half of the year is really going to be your time, and you're getting ready for that. You're thirsting for a new adventure or a new challenge, but for some reason there is this rat here who wants to hold you back. And like I said, we saw something similar in group 1 where like you're trying to grow, you're trying to move ahead, make progress, achieve your goals. And well, actually in group 1, it was more like someone wanted to leech off of that success and like take advantage of it. For you guys, I more so feel like there's someone who wants to hold you back. Like they don't want you to have this new experience. And it's for selfish reasons, It's not like, oh no, don't go there, it's dangerous. It's like, don't go there because I'm not going there and you should stay in this little box. It's that kind of feeling. Or maybe someone wants your spot, or someone feels like they're competing with you. There may be people who, to your face, because this does say behind your back, there may be people to your face who speak as if they're very supportive of the things you dream about and the new experiences you want to have, but then they're saying some shit behind your back. But with Lily here, with spiritual love, I think that you guys are protected by your spirit guides. So, you know, people can say whatever they want, but they cannot really interfere in any real way. I do not see the danger for this group, for example, of you receiving like an energetic attack or a psychic attack or anything like that. I do feel like you are safe and protected from that at this time. It's more so people who want to keep you small to serve their own ego or to like pacify themselves, if that's the right way to put it. You cannot really do anything. I'm sure I have quoted this before when this rat card came out, but there's this video of this woman and she's like, "You are just like a rat, jumping around the corner looking for food. Very jealous." So maybe someone is jealous of you, and like, no offense to rats. I'm sorry I'm talking so much smack about you, but yeah, maybe there's someone who's jealous of your new experience, or honestly, maybe they're just scared. Like maybe they're just insecure, and I feel for them, but I don't feel for how they're choosing to act based on their emotions. But maybe someone is scared of you outgrowing them, you know? This is just an example, like to illustrate the energy, but I'm picturing these two friends, and maybe one friend gets famous, and then this other friend maybe starts to act weird around them or act bitter, and it seems like, oh, they're just jealous of my success. But deep down, it's like, I feel insecure that you're gonna go off and have all these cool experiences and forget about me, or like you're gonna meet people who are a lot cooler than me and find a new best friend. So it's like, it could be one way or the other, like someone who actually has bad intentions, or they're just scared of you outgrowing them, which of course is no excuse to be nasty to someone, but just to provide insight to what might be going on in their head. But yeah, what you do need to know is that you are protected from any ill will or negative intentions towards you. No one can really mess with you. And actually, I want to carry that message over to your dream life. You know, if you're doing exploration of the astral plane, that can be kind of scary too. You never know like what beings you're going to meet out there. So keep this with you as well. A sign that you're protected. Lilies or flowers in general, I feel like they're a symbol of protection for you, that no matter where you may be traveling, whether you're traveling somewhere to a faraway land on Earth or you're doing astral travel, you will be safe. You may see some little nasty energies around once in a while, but they cannot really do anything. So this concludes the general overview part of the reading. So we're going to move into the specific areas of your life. That probably goes like this. There's one tarot card and one oracle card each for love life and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. So let's start off with your love life and relationships. For your tarot card, we have the Eight of Swords. And for your oracle card, we have the Cycle, spells, divine time, lunar influence, and waiting before the result. So with the Eight of Swords here, this is Gemini energy, more specifically Jupiter in Gemini, but a Gemini person could be significant to you this month. And that's interesting, like part of June is Gemini season. We also have a rabbit here. So like we mentioned, year of the rat, year of the rabbit could be significant as well. In 2023, we are in the year of the rabbit right now. So basically someone who's 24 or 36 or 48 this year, plus 12 infinitely. it seems like there's a couple different ways I can interpret this. In a more general sense, this could be indicating that you are recognizing patterns in your relationships that don't serve you or that are draining you so that you can break the cycle. For example, maybe upon reflection, you realize that, oh, I have a habit of when something's bothering me and people ask me if I'm okay, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine, because I don't want to make a big deal about it, or because I assume that they wouldn't understand, or because I'm not ready to talk about it. But I shouldn't lie and say that I'm fine. I should say, no, I am bothered, or I'm not ready to talk about it, or whatever it might be. It's like we're noticing those things that, oh, I keep doing that, and it's actually kind of sabotaging me in my relationships. And it may have to do with boundaries or people pleasing in some way, or maybe you hold yourself back out of a fear of rejection or a fear of judgment, a fear of abandonment. The Eight of Swords kind of has to do with our fears and insecurities that hold us back. And so I think you're maybe noticing a pattern that is being perpetuated in your relationships. Maybe like, I don't stand up for myself. I say sorry when I don't mean it. I say yes when I really mean no. And kind of learning how to, or promising to yourself that you will free yourself from those patterns and that you will empower yourself more. This being looks very powerful to me, and this rabbit does as well. Now, the other interpretation has more to do with a specific person. So we kind of spoke about patterns repeating in general in your relationships, but I think another interpretation is a pattern that keeps repeating just between you and a specific person. It feels like I'm not really making progress with this person. It feels like I'm going in circles with them. There may be someone in your life where things feel kind of stagnant or blocked. And there's this feeling of, just when I think we're going to have a breakthrough and we're going to make progress in this connection, we fall back to the old ways. Maybe we have a heart to heart. Maybe there's apologies exchanged. Maybe I finally open up or they finally open up and I feel like things are going to be different. And then it just goes back to how it was before. And so in this case, I feel like June is an opportunity for you to break the cycle with that person. Now, you may decide to move on from this person. That is a valid decision. But what I will say is that I don't really see that to be necessary. So if you worry, like, should I not be holding on? Should I be moving on from this connection? I really don't think you have to. I do think that the cycle can be broken and that you can start a happier cycle with this person. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay in any connection that isn't serving you anymore. I just kind of wanted to say that you don't have to. I don't see a message like you should move on, you should cut ties. I don't really see that. But these are cycles that have been perpetuated out of fear, out of one or both of you holding back. We do have spell here. I don't know if spells are your thing, but you could be doing some kind of magic to help yourself heal, to help yourself break a cycle. And really anything can be a spell. It doesn't have to be like a fancy witchcraft moment, but any ritual you do where you're setting an intention can be a spell. I'm thinking of Amazonite right now. I just looked at the color of this card again. Aren't they super similar? Amazonite makes me think of like manifesting stone, like we're speaking things into existence. So June could be a really powerful month for manifesting in your relationships or manifesting in your love life, especially setting the intention to remove blockages and to put an end to cycles and patterns that don't serve you anymore. Next, we have cards for your career and studies. So for your tarot card, we have the Five of Cups. And for your oracle card, we have I am moving between worlds, along the path, milestone, and travel. Interesting. Travel is coming up once again, as we had it here with the Sagittarius energy. Some of you guys might be changing jobs or changing offices or changing schools, changing departments, or you could be changing how you get to work or school. I don't know, like you used to take the train and now you drive or ride your bike or something like that. But I feel like this I am moving, what it's really saying to me in this context is I am making progress. I am making progress, I am going places, I am on the right path. With the Five of Cups being present here, I feel like you guys are not as stuck as you think you are, or you're not moving as slowly as you think you are. There's this feeling of you guys being disappointed or even sad with a perceived lack of progress or a perceived lack of performance. You may not be objectively seeing how well you're doing in your educational and professional pursuits, or you may not be objectively seeing like how much you have grown and how much you have changed and how, like, just how far you've come. Basically, it's like the way you perceive it is that you're not making progress, but you are very much making progress. And put quite simply, I think we need to give ourselves more credit. With milestone here, you may be encouraged to, and this sounds kind of cliche, but celebrate small wins. So celebrate smaller checkpoints along your journey. For example, the example that came to my mind, if you're reading a big ass book, don't only celebrate when you finish the book, but celebrate after you finished every chapter. Because this gives your brain positive reinforcement to keep going. It makes you more motivated. It makes you less overwhelmed, like it seems less daunting. I don't have to read the whole book, I just have to read this chapter. And the more instances you create in your life of like, oh, I accomplished something, good for me. I made progress, good for me. If you do this more often, you have more, this may be weird wording, but you have more like logs in your mental diary or in your physical journal of accomplishments. You're like, wow. Instead of being like, I read one book, you're like, damn, I read like 39 chapters. That's a lot of work. You're working a lot harder, or you're doing a lot more than you give yourself credit for. And I kind of do this as well. Like, there's a lot of things that I do in a day that were not on my to-do list. And I probably should put them on there because that act of crossing it off, you feel fulfilled. You feel like I did something, I accomplished something. And sometimes at the end of the day, I look at my day planner and I'm like, wow, I didn't do a lot of the things on here. And then I feel like I was lazy all day, and it's like, it's actually that I did some things on my day planner and then I did a ton of other tasks that I just didn't write down. So it's not giving me an accurate representation of my productivity and of my progress. Like, for example, I usually don't write down like editing. I just do it when I have time and like when there's editing to do and like preparing social media posts and like replying to emails and stuff like that. And that's all important work and it takes effort and it should be celebrated that I get those things done. But just because it's not something I'm like crossing off the to-do list, I feel like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. I hope that makes sense. if you pay attention or even like if you document everything that you're doing a lot more than you realize. A lot. And it's kind of sad because like we spoke about, you have this opportunity to have a more relaxed month, to be more chill. If you're, actually, I think a lot of us struggle with this, even if you're not an anxious person, but if you're an anxious person, you'll know what I mean. When we are in this energy of I'm not doing enough, taking time off, taking time to relax, we can feel guilty. We can feel like we're not supposed to be doing that. And I really hope that you can take advantage of this more slow and relaxing month and not feel bad like I'm not doing enough, I'm gonna lose progress, because you have been working very hard. You just may not be, you're not objectively seeing it, or you're not, a lot of the hard work you're doing, you're not counting it as like hard work that has been done, if that makes sense. Be more conscious of your efforts and be more appreciative of your own efforts, I think is the message here. Because the Five of Cups can indicate like we're being a little bit pessimistic or we're feeling down, when really you are moving, you are making moves, you are making progress, and you should be proud of yourself. So finally, we have the cards for spiritual and personal growth. So for your tarot card, we have the Magician, and I love to see that because it goes so well with what we spoke about at the very start of this reading, which is like everything you dream and fantasize about, you can make it a reality. And these energies go very well together. Like this is you aligning what you see in your dreams and what you experience here on earth in your waking life, making it so that there is an alignment between your fantasy world and your real world. And the Magician as well, he's bringing down the endless possibility of the divine and the infinite intelligence of the divine into his physical experience. He's bringing down that power to create whatever he envisions, whatever he desires in his life. This month, I think you're reminding yourself, or you're being reminded, that you are this divine creator with infinite potential. And I think we need to constantly be reminded, or at least I do. Like, I literally have this Magician tattoo and I still forget sometimes. I still forget that I am the Magician. It's hard. It's hard down here. We got to keep reminding ourselves of what we're capable of. And I think that what you go through this month will be a big reminder of that. We also have my fear is anxiety, face the nightmare, creative block, and heaviness. Interesting. This looks very much like some kind of nightmare or sleep paralysis. So you guys could be like conquering some fear of yours that has to do, or anxiety, conquering some anxiety that has to do with sleep or the dark or nightmares. Some of you could actually be defeating defeating your sleep paralysis demon. Like if you have a recurring scary dream or a recurring nightmare, you could be finally changing the narrative. So I don't know, maybe you have a recurring dream that there's a skeleton monster thing chasing you and it's terrifying. But then next time you step into that dream and it's the same recurring dream, but this time you change it by turning around and punching him in the face or something. Like you're changing the narrative of dreams or healing something around dreams or your ability to sleep peacefully. And I think you're also, well, this could also be a fear in your waking life that you're finally facing. A fear of driving, a fear of roller coasters, a fear of spiders. I don't know what you're afraid of, but you could be overcoming it this month. And I think it's really about remembering how powerful you are. when we're afraid of something and we let it control our life, we are essentially giving power to that thing. It's like when I was afraid of leaving my house because I was terrified of cicadas. I'm basically saying to that cicada, you are more powerful than me. That little annoying guy, he's not more powerful than me. Well, he is, but only because I'm letting him be. There's a fear that has been taking away your power, and I think we're overcoming that in the month of June. It could also be an emotional fear, like a fear of saying no, a fear of upsetting people. That can be very scary. A fear of someone being mad at me. And we're not facing that by saying, oh, that won't happen. No one will get mad at me. It's okay. We're saying like, you're allowed to be mad at me. I'll be fine. You know, it's just anger. I'm an adult. I can handle it. Like, I'm strong enough. I'm powerful enough. But I'm not going to give this fear the power to control me anymore. For some of you as well, there could be fears surrounding manifesting your dream life. I'm just thinking back to this rat. You know, like maybe you've heard of like people fearing what they really want or being afraid in the face of what they really want. And I don't think it's that you're afraid of what you want. I think it's that maybe you're afraid of the negative consequences that you think might come from it. So, for example, in that example of the best friends, like one of them's getting famous, if it's your dream to become famous, I don't think you're not afraid of the success, but maybe you're afraid of you're like alienating yourself from your friends, or maybe you're afraid of being in the press all the time, or maybe you're afraid that you're going to get overworked. It's like, it's not your dream that you're afraid of. It's like the negative consequences that could come from it. And I think in that case as well, like I'm not going to give my power to those fears anymore. Because I know that, yes, maybe those things might happen, but, oh, and this came up in group number 1 as well. Like, some things that you are afraid of might happen in this life. You know, scary shit happens. But if we live in fear and let it stop us from doing anything, then the fear wins. And in our story, fear doesn't win, we win. We triumph over the fear and we say, go ahead, scary thing, happen. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, I don't care if there's a cicada, I'm going outside. And there were many, and it was very scary, but I did it. So, and you know what? After it happens a few times, you'll realize that it's not that scary. In the example that you're afraid of saying no because it's gonna upset someone, after a few times of saying no and someone being disappointed, you're gonna be like, oh, that's it? You're just disappointed? Like, okay, that's fine. You can be disappointed, that's okay. My answer is still no. So it's scary at first, but the more times you do it and you realize that you're not actually hurt or dying from what happened, it gets easier. It's like desensitization to these fears that you've built up so badly in your head. And that's when once you're like desensitized to that fear, I don't know if that's the best word, but it's just once it can't get to you anymore, like that's it, you've won. So big month of overcoming fears for you guys. Overcoming fears, giving yourself a lot more credit, and just being more cognizant of all the hard work that you're doing. And challenge yourself to see, it's like there's some things that you're doing a really fantastic job at and working very hard at, but you have some bias that that's not work, that's not hard work, that's not a real job, or something like that. Like you're kicking ass more than you realize. That's what I will say. Overcoming fear and breaking patterns that are holding you back, having a breakthrough with yourself or with someone important to you. You're stepping into new experiences. You're stepping over the rat. You're like, let me just boop and into the new experience. Yeah. And having the time of your life in dreamland, it looks like. So it really looks like a great month for you guys. I'm happy to see this. Group number 2, these are all the messages I have for your month of June. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can check out my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can check out my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these ones, except for you get to choose a topic. You can check out my music channel, which includes the song at the intro of this video that is an original song. And you can also check out my latest release linked down below. And also, I have a vlog channel at KINO Vlogs, and I have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. In group number 2, I'm sending lots of love to you, to everyone involved in your month of June, your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on Earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 3s, so if you guys chose the emerald, this is going to be your reading for your month of June 2023. So like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to start off this reading by just getting a general look at your month. So we're going to see the main themes of the month, the main energies that you're working with, as well as significant events and changes that are coming your way. And to do that, we're going to be using these oracle cards right here. So let's get right into it. For group number 3, we're starting with death, transformation, the eternal cycle of life, death, life. So everybody, all of the groups today have gotten some kind of message of transformation or major change happening in their life. It's very interesting. I don't know if something's in the air in this month of June or if there's an astrological transit that is facilitating this, but it's very interesting to see this come through across all 3 groups. What I will say for this group, group number 3, in the month of June, there is more of a focus on the release, on the letting go, on the ending that happens before the new beginning. I think that a big theme for you guys in the month of June is letting go of something. Letting go of an old self, like a snake shedding its skin, or letting go of an old way of life. I am very much thinking of the death card in tarot, which is about like a release, a walking away. So for some of you guys, for example, it could be a person, a connection that you're moving on from. I'm also getting for others of you, it's like a goal that once really mattered to you, or you thought it really mattered, but the goal or dream just isn't doing it for you anymore. Like you can't really identify with this dream anymore. But it's kind of hard to let go because you did identify with it for such a long time. And actually, let me use a dancer as an example because it looks like this person is dancing. Let's say you had been dancing since you were a child, and you know, everyone in your family and your friend group just knows you as the dancer. You've always identified as like, this is what I'm going to do for my profession. It's like a part of who I am. And you felt very competitive and ambitious towards it. But maybe you've just reached a season of your life, or you've reached an age, or you've just changed, and it doesn't really light your fire like that anymore. And I think that realization can be kind of scary because we're like, should I try to rekindle this fire? Like, is it just a phase that I'm not really feeling it and I'll get back to it? Or am I just different now? Because it's very okay to, you know, to rethink your goals and rethink your dreams and stop walking a path if it's just not for you anymore. But maybe there's an element of like having a lot of our identity attached to something, or a lot of people know us as being this one way, and so it's kind of strange to step away from that. The same thing in a relationship. Maybe you're in a partnership where everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're such an amazing couple, you're so great together, I'm so happy you guys are together, but deep down you feel like this partnership is not for me anymore. And so it's like, how do I even go about walking away or telling people in my life, like, this isn't me anymore? It's like we're afraid to let go of something, or afraid of like shedding that old, and I keep wanting to say identity, like that old identity, that old self. Or maybe we're afraid that if we stop walking a path, it makes us a quitter or something like that. I do see that sometimes. But this month, it's all about the release. That's what it looks like. It's all about the release. We also have maybe in another time, in another life. So some of you guys are just choosing to live a different life. I also think for some of you, you could have been holding on to something because, for example, you've maybe heard the expression before, like right person, wrong time. So we feel like we're with the right person, but we just met at the wrong time, or we met under the wrong circumstances. And I think a message for you guys is like, then it's the wrong person. Like if it's not right for you now in the reality of the situation, we can't hold on to like hypotheticals of what it could be, or our fantasy of what we wish it could be. I think there's an encouragement to look at your situation at face value and ask yourself, like, is this truly a fit for me? Am I truly happy? Is this truly serving me? Some of you guys have maybe stuck to a path because people kept telling you like, oh, it gets better, like just stick to it, it will get better. And you've been on this path and it's just not getting better. And I don't want to knock like sticking something out and sticking through the hard part, but after so long of not being fulfilled or not being satisfied, I think it comes a point where we have to say, maybe this is just not a fit for me. Like maybe I'm just not compatible with this person, or maybe I'm just not meant for this path. And I think as people in general, we're just afraid of letting go. We're afraid of detaching. We're afraid of endings. But I feel like there is an ending that wants to happen for this group. It will be liberating. So we're going to take a look now at these astrological cards to get more insights into the main energies of your month. Interesting. We have regeneration with black tourmaline and Pluto. This is interesting because, regeneration, Pluto, this is giving Scorpio vibes, and the death card in tarot as well, even though this isn't tarot, is related to the sign of Scorpio. And we even have the number 11 here, which is like the month of November, also Scorpio season. You guys could have some Scorpio placements, or like a significant person could be a Scorpio. But I think that more so you're just embodying that energy of transformation, of regeneration, of reinventing yourself. And, with this black tourmaline, and also the way this person is completely like, what do you call it? Darkened out, in the shadows. There could be a fear of the unknown. So, if I stop walking this path, or if I walk away from this, what is next for me? The fear of what's next, or the fear that maybe there is nothing next, or that there can't be something better next. That could be keeping you stuck where you are. But I think regeneration in the number 11 is promising to you that a new beginning is coming. And I've seen this in every group. I feel like this collective, we're going through some kind of big new beginning, but this group is still kind of in the stage of like finding the courage to release, or making peace with an ending. And there is a promise that you will build yourself back up. And not only will you do that, but you will build yourself back up as someone who you like more, someone who you resonate with more. someone you can relate to more. And maybe it sounds weird to say like that you can or can't relate to yourself, but some of you guys might be in some ways living a life that you can't really relate to. Like, this doesn't feel like me anymore. And I think what this group needs to know more than anything is that it's okay to change. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay if something that once lit you up doesn't light you up anymore. It's okay if you outgrew something. It's okay if something's time has passed in your life. You don't have to stay the same person forever, or value the same things forever, or be with the same people forever. And yeah, letting go will be liberating. We also have the Grand Cross. Interesting. So the Grand Cross, when I look at it, I feel tension. I feel conflict. Like, all of these planets are trying to pull in different directions. They're all at odds with each other. So there is a feeling of some kind of conflict going on for you. It could very well be an inner conflict that's happening this month. I feel like that would make a lot of sense based on what we spoke about here. It could also be conflict with people in your life. This could be a month where you feel like, you know, everybody has a different opinion, or everybody wants different things from you. Could also be a conflict in your schedule. Like, a lot of things are asking for your attention. A lot of things are on your plate and kind of pulling you in different directions. Like, I don't know, for example, I have to be out here taking care of my clients, but I also have to be back here at home taking care of my kids, and I have to be in here inside myself doing healing and shadow work, and then I have to be out in the world with a smile on my face, and then I have to be taking care of my body. It's like, you just might feel like a lot of things are being asked of you this month, and it's the feeling of being pulled in a lot of directions. And there could also be some inner conflict that you're working through of like what you truly want to do, or conflict with others of like what everyone else thinks you should do. It's tough. Like, if I'm being honest, this month feels tough, and I know it sounds a bit cliche, but truly, it is making you stronger. It's making you stronger. It's like if you think of the transformation of a phoenix, I feel like you're in the phase where everything is just kind of up in flames, but it's creating the ashes that you will rise from. There's like chaos and destruction coming in to make way for new life. And I'm not gonna lie, these transformations can be scary. But once we get through them on the other side, once we become that butterfly, it's all worth it. And we'll see that it wasn't as chaotic as it appeared. It was actually very intentionally orchestrated by our higher self to chip away at pieces of us that didn't belong there anymore, and to sand off pieces of us that were kind of sharp and pointy, whip us into shape. It may feel like chaos when you're going through it, but it's quite calculated. Pluto too, I feel like there's like a destructive nature to it, but it brings major changes. It's like knocking down a little shack to build a mansion in its place. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to take a look at our tea leaf fortune cards now. I just saw 1212, by the way. Oh, and also, let me look at when the moon is going to be in Scorpio in the month of June. It's probably either at the like very beginning or very end. Okay, so the moon will be in Scorpio from the 1st to the 3rd of June. And is it going back at the end? Yes, from the 1st to the 3rd of June, as well as from the 28th to the 30th of June. So those could be important dates for you guys. But yes, let's take a look at our tea leaf cards now. So these could be Other specific events of the month, things to look forward to, things to look out for, or messages from your spirit guides. And we have an astral house, so this is probably going to show us an area of your life that will be significant this month. So we have career coming through for you, and I just saw 1313, which is the number of death. So maybe there is an ending and a transformation happening in our career. We have hat, you will be playing a different role. So yeah, that seems to be confirming that. You will be playing a different role in your career. You will have a different position. You will have different responsibilities. Maybe you'll have a whole different job altogether. And then we have dog barking, advice from a friend. Interesting, because we had that message of like a bunch of people could be saying different things. I think that if you're going to listen to anyone's advice during this month, and this is not like a be-all end-all rule, I just think for your specific situation this month, you are being encouraged to, if you're going to take advice from anyone, from a friend who has known you for a long time and who has already seen you go through these transitions, you know? So they have kind of they have some prior knowledge to work with. They've seen you at your best, they've seen you at your worst, they've seen you under pressure, and they've seen what you're capable of. Someone like that, I think, can give you the best advice in this situation, like someone who really knows you on a personal level. And also, perhaps someone who has been through the exact thing that you are going through. They don't necessarily need to tell you, you should do this, but just tell you what they did when they went through that experience. So, you know, if you're going through a dark night of the soul, you speak to a friend who has also been through their dark night of the soul, and how did it feel like for you, and how did you deal with everything that came up? How did you come out on the other side? What did you learn? Some of you guys could also be stepping into a new position or stepping into a new career that is like something that your friend does. And so they'll be able to like give you tips and advice. So like, I don't know, if you're friends with me and you're like, I'm gonna start a tarot channel, what should I do? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. No. And then your friend actually gives you advice, because maybe you're like getting into the same career field as them or working with someone that they know, and they can give you some tips on like how to do a good job and how to make a good impression. Yes. So this concludes the general overview part of the reading. So we're going to get into your specific life areas now. As you can see, we have one tarot card and one oracle card each for love and relationships, career and studies, and spiritual and personal growth. So let's start off with your love and relationships. For your tarot card, we have the Sun. What a beautiful card. And we have Ganesh, extreme luck, everything is fine, obstacle removed, prosperity. Oh, these are so beautiful together, and I love how the colors match. We have this beautiful bright yellow sun, and we have the bright yellow background on this Ganesh card. Wow, this is just happiness in your love life and relationships. I think what you guys need to know is that your future is bright. And it's interesting because we started off this reading with kind of a heavy, dark energy, but then in the relationship department, we have such happiness. One thing that is coming through is that you guys could be spending time this month with the person who makes you most happy, or maybe it's not even a person. For example, maybe it's like your dog or your bird that makes you the most happy. But spending time with those who just really light you up and really allow you to forget all of your troubles and be carefree and be playful. This is who you will be with this month. I also think that you guys could be surrounded by those who really inspire you and who you really look up to. And also, for those of you who do resonate with you're letting go of someone, I actually feel like you're gonna feel really good after. And maybe for some of you guys, you already know this. Like it will be a relief when a certain connection exits your life. You will feel a lot better. You will feel a lot less stressed. But for others of you, you might actually think that, oh, I'm gonna be sad when I leave this relationship, or I'm gonna be so lost. But not long after you realize that without this person in your life, you actually feel a lot better. And it's no offense to that person, or maybe offense to them, I don't know them. But an example that's coming to my mind is like someone who's in a relationship that is perhaps toxic for them, or maybe the person is just straight up toxic. And they're really scared to leave them because maybe they've been together for a long time. They haven't been single in a really long time, and they're scared of that unknown. But after a while of not being with this person, they're like, wait a minute, I feel a lot more confident. I feel a lot more free. I feel like a weight has been lifted. Like I thought I was going to be a mess without this person, but I feel pretty good. So for those of you who are like, you feel like this letting go is a bad thing, I think you'll actually find it's like ripping off a band-aid. And once you actually do it, like the ripping part is the scariest, but once you actually get it off, you will feel a lot better. Very interesting. We have extreme luck. We have everything is fine, obstacle removed. Some of you guys might be moving on from someone that is like, and this word sounds so mean, but like good riddance. Like you're better off not being together. But I also think for others of you, this is just indicating that you're spending time with those who matter the most in the month of June, and surrounding yourself with those who lift you up, who not only recognize your light, but who help to kindle your light and help to put you in places where your light can truly shine. People who see your potential and want the best for you, and not to mention people who make you laugh and who brighten up your spirits. This could also be one of those situations where, and I keep going back to an example of letting someone go. And I don't by any means think all of you are letting go of someone this month. It's just kind of an easy example for this energy. But it's like when you go through a breakup and then you spend time with your friends and they're making you laugh and they're hyping you up and they're taking your mind off of things. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's like, even though there's some darkness that you're going through this month, the people in your life, like your friends, your family, your animals, your loved ones, they will never fail to brighten up your mood and to remind you that everything is going to be okay. And so I think with this month, it brings like a renewed and a heightened appreciation for those loved ones in your life. And I think you're coming to appreciate relationships so much because you're like, this is what makes the shitstorm that I'm going through bearable. And it's because of you guys, like your loved ones, that I can be happy and that I can be laughing and that I can have a smile on my face as I go through this hard time. I think humor is going to be a really helpful tool as well to help you get through this tough time. And now I'm hearing that this person who lights you up, they don't necessarily have to be someone you know in person. It can be like, I don't know, maybe it's a podcaster or a YouTuber or someone who, whenever you listen to their content, it helps you, get through a hard day, or they make you laugh. But that's the kind of influences that will be around you, like laughter, lifted spirits, cheering you up. It's really, really nice to see. I'm very, very happy to see this. Like, you're not alone, and the people around you will make this tough transition so much easier and even make it enjoyable because you're able to like laugh about it, and maybe they offer you an optimistic perspective to look at something. It's really, really nice. And maybe Ganesh can help you through this time as well. So now we're going to take a look. I just saw 2244. Now we're going to take a look at your cards for career and studies. Interesting. So the camera just put a square around the candle. Sometimes the camera just likes to focus on random things when I'm doing a reading. And I was just thinking of like Ganesh and thinking about like deities that could be helping you. And then the camera focused on this candle. It could be a message about like lighting a candle for your spirit guides, lighting a candle for a deity who's working with you, like having a candle at your altar. But also this is like fig smell. It smells really freaking good. Someone might like an offering of figs or a fruit. Okay, so for your career and studies, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have Spirit has my back, spirit guide protection, superior help, and reassurance. It's interesting. We have like a Pegasus. We have Ganesh who has an elephant form. We have this tiger with wings. Some of you may have a spirit guide who is an animal or who takes on an animal form, who's protecting you. With the Wheel of Fortune here, I feel for a lot of you there is, and especially with this career and hat, there is some kind of change that is happening in your career, whether it's the job you do, where you work, the position you're in. There's some change going on, but in the month of June, it feels kind of up in the air is the word that I'm hearing. Up in the air, uncertain. There could be something like being in between jobs or not knowing if you're going to get an offer or not. Like, I keep hearing rumors that I'm getting promoted, or like we've been talking about this, but then like it's not happening and I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if I'm getting this new job or not. Something feels kind of up in the air and uncertain at this time, because when we spin the wheel, we don't know where it's going to land, right? But what I'm seeing is that you will be lucky in this situation. Anything that is up in the air will land positively, because when the Wheel of Fortune is spun, Spirit has your back. You're protected and you have help from above. I also like superior help. It could also be like a superior on earth, you know? So like a boss, a coworker who is like above you in your company's hierarchy, basically a senpai, or like someone, a teacher, an older classmate, someone above you, so to speak, in that sense, could be helping you out. Someone could be putting in a good word for you, agreeing to be a reference for you. Someone above you could be like promoting you, helping to get you exposure, helping to get you networking. It's like you'll have help from the bigger guys, so to speak. I also feel like in the month of June, you'll be reassured by someone you admire that you're doing a good job. So the example that's coming to my mind is like maybe there's a coworker who's like, they're so amazing. Maybe they're a bit older than you and they're so knowledgeable, they're so competent. And maybe sometimes you feel a bit intimidated by them. Like if I saw this wild cat with wings coming out of a cave, I might feel a little bit intimidated. But then they come to you and they say like, hey, you're doing a good job. And we even had that message of like spending time around someone you admire. So someone who you really look up to and even might feel a bit intimidated by, and maybe you even thought like, oh, this person doesn't like me, or like this person is gonna criticize me. They come up and they're like, hey, group 3, you're doing a good job. Hey, group 3, I like you. And just having that exchange lets you know that Spirit really does have your back. So yeah, there's some change happening in your career or studies, and it feels kind of like random almost, or just up in the air. Like, I don't know what's going on. How did I end up doing this? And maybe you pick up a random side job and then it ends up being your job for like 3 years. Like the Wheel of Fortune is the feeling of things happening by chance. And, you know, it's kind of like my channel. I just randomly started it one day and I didn't think it was going to be. It's been 4 years now. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Almost 4 years. Or When this is up, it may be exactly 4 years. Anyway, why are they? Oh, because little things that happen by chance might lead to something greater. So finally, we're going to take a look at your cards for your spiritual and personal growth. For your tarot card, we have the Page of Pentacles, even more indication of like a new job, a new position, a new project that has a lot of promise. And if you are this page, then it would also make sense that you're getting help from a superior, that you're getting help from like a mentor, a teacher, a boss, an older coworker. Maybe they're taking you under their wildcat wing and teaching you what they know. Maybe you're going through some sort of training or just trying your hand at something completely new and unexpected. And then we have let's create, manifestation, willpower, and manipulation. And it's interesting that we have the number 5 with change. I think with change, number 5 meaning or representing change is what I wanted to say. I think in terms of your spiritual and personal growth experience, this is a month where you're being reminded that no matter how the, what is it called? No matter how the pieces fall, no matter how the cards fall, no matter how the cookie crumbles in your life, you can make lemonade with the lemons. I hope that that makes sense. However the pieces fall, you can pick them up and make whatever you want out of them. We may not always get to control the hand that is held to us, or we may not always get to control the way things turn out, but we can always control how we choose to move forward. We can control how we choose to react or the meaning that we choose to assign to the experience. And everything you're going through this month is bringing up this truth, is reminding you of that truth. I think putting yourself in a completely new position or in a completely new environment reminds you that life is not as settled and set in stone as maybe you thought before, that things can change in any moment. Like, who knows, maybe in 2 months I won't be doing this channel and I'll be a construction worker. Probably very unlikely, but you never freaking know. You just never know what's gonna happen. Or I might do a short-term contract and end up with a full-time job that I just didn't expect. Things can always change, and you can kind of make your life whatever you want it to be. Just because you identified with being a dancer and like it was a big part of your life for 10, 20, 30 years and everyone knows you like that, it doesn't mean that you can't do something different. And nothing lasts forever anyway. You can always do something different. I think you're being reminded, it's almost like you're being reminded of your creative freedom and reminded that we're not just like, what is it called? We're not just on autopilot floating down one path. We can divert from the path at any time. I feel like your free will is wanting to be exercised, and your soul is craving change, freedom, variety, something different. Like, we've been doing this path, we've been on this chapter for a long time. Let's do something different. The Page of Pentacles is also like working on something new. And with this let's create, I think this is what it is. You're seeing your life as something that you create rather than a linear street that you just have to walk down and make it to the end of the street. You're seeing your life as a creation rather than like a checklist of things. A creation rather than a test of like, did I go the right way or the wrong way? You get to make your life. You get to decide what your life means. You get to decide what you want to do. It's a bit of like we're being shaken awake. Don't you want to don't you want to try something new? I just got the image of like when you chewed a piece of gum for so long that it doesn't even taste good anymore, but maybe you're like focused on something else. You're doing work at your computer that you don't notice you've been chewing this nasty ass gum for like 4 hours, and spirit's tapping you on the shoulder like, hey, don't you want a fresh piece of gum? Like, you've been chewing on this stale shit. And you're like, oh my God, I have. Like, we just got so used to walking from point A to point B that we forgot about all the other side quests that we can go on and all the other adventures we can have. I don't know if those two analogies work together, but it's the feeling of like, did you maybe forget that you can create whatever you want? It's kind of boring when you just go from point A to point B and you think that that's the only path you can take, and oh, like, this is my destiny, I'm gonna meet this person and get this job and the end, be with them forever. And we're finding liberation and even like excitement in the idea that nothing lasts forever, and there's always gonna be something new, some new experience coming. Yeah. So, group number 3s. I don't know why this candle really wants all the focus. This beautiful fig candle. She's delicious. Group number 3s, these are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I just saw 3434, which is actually the number 34 is on this candle because it's like the address. Interesting. Maybe you guys need to get a candle or light a candle that you already have, or eat some figs. But where was I in the outro? Anyway, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can find my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except you get to choose the topic for them. You can check out my music channel, which includes the song that was at the intro, that is an original song. And you can also check out my latest release, linked down below. And I have a vlog channel, which is KINO Vlogs, and merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. Group number 3s, I'm sending you so much love to everyone who is involved in your month of June, to your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.